Hi there, it's Congresswoman Kat Cammack, proudly representing Florida's 3rd Congressional District. Yesterday, I was sworn in as a new member for the 117th Congress. It's only the second day of this session, and we're hitting the ground running and excited to get to work. But Speaker Pelosi and the Democrats have already thrown a wrench into our plans. Today, the House is debating the rules package that will govern the remainder of this session for the next 2 years. This package should include important information that all of us members will abide by during this Congress, but several ridiculous attempts at exercising the Democrats' slim majority are overshadowing the critical work that we need to accomplish on behalf of the American people. Let's break this down of what's all included in this rules package, step by step. First, one of the most outrageous moves that Speaker Pelosi has proposed in this new rules package is the removal of a key procedural motion called the motion to recommit, or MTR for short. Now you're probably wondering, why should you care about this obscure procedural motion? Well, let me tell you. The motion to recommit, or the MTR, is one of the very few most important protected rights for those in the minority. Right now, that's us, Republicans. But no matter who is in the minority, however, this is the protected right that allows those members, and by extension, their constituents, a voice in the House of Representatives by affecting legislation. The motion to recommit has been a tool for the minority for over 100 years. So why am I telling you this? Well, Speaker Pelosi has stripped the MTR in her proposed rules package. That effectively denies myself and my colleagues and all those that we represent in the minority a voice or ability to debate a motion to recommit. In short, it would deny Republicans any input on the bills considered on the House floor. Our founding fathers intended for representatives to have a robust debate and to preserve the rights and voice of the minority to avoid a totalitarian approach to legislation. This drastic and historic change is not for the better. Stripping the motion to recommit from the rules package removes Republican perspectives from processes and eliminates the necessary debate on the issues that our constituents and all Americans care about. The rules package sets the tone and guidelines that members will follow for the next 2 years. Eliminating diversity of opinion by stripping the rights of the minority, it's bad for the House of Representatives, it's bad for all of our districts, and it's bad for our nation as a whole. Another priority for House Democrats in their rules package is the restriction of free speech by members of Congress. Democrats have included a potential rule that could restrict the digital content members are able to release if deemed distorted or manipulated with the intent to mislead the public. Have House Democrats forgotten about the First Amendment? Who decides what has been distorted or manipulated, or what post has the intent to mislead the public? Memes and jokes are clearly off the table. Articles written by conservative journalists are no longer acceptable. You, as a free-thinking American, are no longer able to judge what is real or fake news. According to Speaker Pelosi and her proposed rules package, Twitter and Facebook will now tell you what is truth. If approved, this new potential rule would not just include our official member accounts, but also members' unofficial or personal accounts. Surely we cannot rely on social media companies to be the arbiter of truth. This is insane. We should reject any attempt at censorship by House Democrats, period. Also, as part of the new rules package, Democrats have banned the use of gender pronouns like mother or father, grandmother or son. Democrats are showing their true colors today by demonstrating that they are more interested in perpetuating a politically correct culture and restricting our constitutional rights to free speech rather than working for the American people. At a time when American families and businesses are struggling, it is ridiculous that House Democrats have decided instead to focus on banning our free speech. As a daughter, a wife, and sister myself, any attempt to adjust semantics in a rules package is just laughable. Congress has far more pressing issues to focus on than the banning the speech of its members, and I will reject this radical, needless restriction imposed by House Democrats. Lastly, In this new rules package for the new Congress, House Democrats have eliminated PAYGO restrictions, which have required Congress to find ways to pay for any legislation that they put forward. By eliminating PAYGO, Democrats will now be able to force through any legislation that furthers their radical agenda, regardless of how harmful that legislation may be to our country's future. Democrats will also be able to force through any legislation that furthers their radical agenda with these new broad PAYGO exemptions, regardless of how harmful it may be. We cannot allow Democrats to force their fiscally irresponsible radical agenda on America, and I will oppose this reckless change in the House. I will stand up to vote against this rules package this afternoon. There is no reason that we should allow the Democrats' tyrannical attempts at holding control over the chamber permeate the remainder of the session. There's real work to be done.